Hello everybody and welcome back to Arvind Upadhyay show. I am your host Arvind Upadhyay, best-selling author of the 100 of the books related to financial well-being, financial expertise, wealth and money. This podcast is brought to you by Arvind Upadhyay Books, Arvind Upadhyay and Arvind Enterprises Group. Now in this episode I am talking about the myth of the financial expertise, why some of the professional wine testers and stock pickers are clueless and how you can beat them. If I invite you to a blind test of a $12 wine versus $1,200 wine, could you tell me the difference? I bet you $20 you couldn't. In 2001, Frederick Borchardt, a researcher at the University of the Bordeaux, ran a study that sent shock waves which wines they like. He invited 57 recognized experts to evaluate two wines, one red, one white. After tasting the two wines, the expert described the red wine as an intense, deep, and spicy word commonly used to describe red wines. The white was described in equally standard terms, likely fresh and floral. But what none of these experts picked up on was that the two wines were exactly the same wines. Even more damning, the wine was actually both white wine. The red wine had been colored with the food coloring. So think about that for a second. 57 wine experts couldn't even tell that we are drinking two identical wines. So there is something we need to talk about what it's come to experts. Americans love experts, even Indians love experts. We feel comforted when we see a tall, uniformed pilot behind the control of a plane. We trust our doctor to prescribe the right medication. We are confident that our lawyers still steer us right through legal tangle, and we devour the word of the taking heads in the media. We are taught that experts deserve to be compensated for their training and experience. After all, we wouldn't hire someone off the street to build a house or remove our wisdom teeth, would we? No. All of our lives we have been taught to defer to the experts, teachers, doctors, and investment professionals. But ultimately, expertise is about result. You can have fanciest degree from the fanciest school, but if you can't perform what you were hired to do, your expertise is meaningless. In our culture of the worshipping expert, what have to result been when it comes to the finance in the America? That's a pretty dismal. We have earned a failing grade in financial literacy. In 2008, high school seniors correctly answered a gloomy 48% of the question on the Jumpstart Coalition National Financial Literacy Survey, while college senior answered only 65% right. We think investing is about guessing the next best stock instead of the enriching ourselves by saving and investing. Most American households are not in the and Bijward of Wall Street can't even manage their own company. Risk sometimes is not right here. Our financial experts are failing us. So all of our lives we have been taught to deeper to expert, but ultimately expertise is about result. When it's come to investing, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the options: small, mid, and large cap stocks, bonds, growth values, blend fund, not in mention factoring expenses ratio, interest rate, allocation goals, and diversification. That is why so many people say, can't I just hire someone to do this for me? This is a maddening question, because in fact financial expert, in particular fund managers and anyone who attempt to predict the market, are often no better than amateur. They are often worse. The vast majority of the 20 somethings can earn more than so-called experts by investing low cost fund. So for the average investor, the value of the financial expertise is a myth. There are the several reasons for the that in detail that I can argue with you. Think about how you treat the expert in your life. So that deserve to do put a pedestal? Do they deserve tens of the thousands of dollars in fees? If so, what kind of the performance do you demand of them? In truth, being rich is within your control, not some experts. How rich you are depend on the amount you are able to save and on your investment plan. But one else to blame if you are not rich. No advisors, no complicated investment strategy, no market condition. But it also means that you control exactly what's happened to you and your money over the long term. You know that what is the most fun part of this book is for that is any of the my book related to wealth and money, there is a significance I have introduced in the wealth, and that is like personal finance. I notice that many people have the lack of financial literacy, which they don't know the truth behind the money, and they don't know the real money. They know what's fake money. So I consistently basing that it is the disbelief that people get offer and people read the whenever I point out how people best their money by investing in expensive mutual fund or by relying the financial advisor who generate below market return. So surely that must be making great number, because they wouldn't continue investing. They were not making lots of money, right? According to me, experts can't guess where the market is going. Before we move on to discuss how can you beat the expert, let's look a little more deeply into how they operate and why their advice is so often misses the mark. The most valued financial experts are the financial pundits and portfolio managers, the people who choose the specific stock in mutual funds. They love to regale us with the prediction about where the market is going up, down. They go on the about how interest rate and oil production and butterfly flapping it's being in the China will affect the stock market. So yeah, everything is they do that. Financial pundits are the basis on this is the forecasting called timing and market. When I was studying the business analytics with the University of Pennsylvania, I just understand what is the market forecasting, and now I got little bit understanding more what is the future forecasting. Unfortunately, the fact is that nobody can predict where the market is going. It's just that talking head on TV makes grandiose prediction every day, and whether they are right or wrong, they are never held accountable for them. The media feed of every little market fluctuation on day. The pundits are spreading gloom and doom about multi-hundred point loss in the market. Then 3 days later, the front page is filled with the images of hope and unicorn in the market climb 500 points. So it is rewarding to watch, but step back and ask yourself, am I learning anything from this, or am I just being overwhelmed by the information about the market going up one day, down another day? More information is not always good, especially when it is not actionable and cues you to make error in your investing. The key takeaway here is to ignore any prediction that pundits make, experts make. They simply do not know what will happen in the future, even though you would think that would know better. The fund managers also fall prey to financial hype. You can see this in the trading patterns of fund themselves. Mutual funds turnover stock frequently, meaning they buy and sell fund lots and incurring trading fee held outside tax advantage account. Takes for you. The managers chase the latest hot stock, confident of their abilities to spot something that's a millionaire of other have not. What's more, they also demand extraordinary compensation. Get this: in 2006, the average Goldman Sachs employee made $622,000. That's not a typo. It's the average amount Goldman employees made with a salary and bonus. Despite this astronomical compensation, fund manager from all companies still fail to beat the market 75% of the time. But You might say my fund is different. The manager returned 80% over the last 2 years. That's a great, but just because someone beat the market for year or two doesn't mean that they will beat the market next year. Think about the year 2000 if you had